Nat Turner is a black American slave born in a plantation in Virginia. He is very religious and would often see visions. He interpreted these visions to mean that God had chosen him to start a slave rebellion and kill the slave owners. Turner took a solar eclipse that occurred as a signal to start the revolution, so he told his 6 most trusted friends about his plans and also recruited around 55 to 60 more slaves. Together they killed about 55 white people, including men, women, and even children. Afterwards, on his way to take Jerusalem, he was confronted by a heavily armed militia. They all panicked and scattered, and the militia hunted them down, but it took 2 months for Turner to finally be found and captured. He was then tried and hanged. Over the years, Turner has emerged as a hero, a religious fanatic, and a villain.
Vesey was a former slave who was brought to Charleston, South Carolina. After winning the lottery, he bought his freedom with half but could not buy his wife and child freedom. He became a small religious leader, punished for those who had done wrong. By 1817, Denmark had found Gulag. He was instrumental in spreading the message of Denmark's plan for violent revolution. Thus, Denmark could bring 2 different groups into the fold, the Christian and the Golan Islands people, all organized with the same plan in mind, freedom or death. Even though the white suspicion did not discover Denmark's plans for revolution, they were worried about the gathering of such large group of black. On December 3, 1817, the city guard raided the AME church and arrested 469 black, charging them with disorderly conduct. On June 9, 1880, the city once again razed the church. More than 100 free black enslaved, including 12 ministers and 1 bishop, were arrested and brought to the guardhouse. For the next 4 years, Vesey traveled the Low Country area. He convinced many of the slaves that the Haitian government would certainly send a black army to aid the Carolina slaves in their revolt. If not that, then after killing their white master and looting Charleston, the slaves could flee to Haiti. On Tuesday, June 18, Peter Poyas, Ned Bennett, Rolla, Bethune Bennett were arrested as well as 6 others, but not Denmark. For the several days later, Captain Dove of the city guard broke into the house of Vesey's wife and arrested him. He was taken to the workhouse to await trial. After the failed revolt in 1882 in June 22, Vesey and his men were put on trial for their actions. On July 2nd, he was hung later that year with 36 others. Vesey became martyr for African Americans and a symbol for the abolishment movement.
Gabriel's conspiracy was planned by enslaved African American men to attack Richmond and destroy slavery in Virginia. Although unsuccessful, it remains one of the half-dozen most important insurrection plots in the history of North American slavery. Named after an enslaved blacksmith who emerged as the most significant leader of the plot, Gabriel's conspiracy originated during the spring and the summer of 1800 in Henrico County neighborhood north of Richmond. 2 slave men betrayed the plot just hours before a rainstorm prevented the conspirators from gathering on the night of August 30. In response, Virginia authorities arrested and persecuted more than 70 enslaved men for insurrection and conspiracy, besides passing restrictions on free black, as well as prohibiting the education, assembly, and hiring out of the slave to restrict their chances to learn and to plan similar rebellions. Collective action that had intended to liberate slaves. The Reinvigoration Slave Society of the South thrived in the 19th century and only ended with the massive violence of the Civil War. Nevertheless, the hypocrisy of the slavery in new nation dedicated to democracy was more obvious than ever before in American history. thought the brutal slave regime would continue to try and dehumanize the people it enslaved. It never fully succeeded.